The real meaning behind the ancient Eye of Horus left people shocked. Egyptian mythology is a fascinating subject. Egyptian gods and mythical creatures are a significant part of Egyptian history. For example, the sun and the moon were regarded as the eyes of the god Horus, but you'll be shocked to know the real meaning behind the Eye of Horus. Hello, and welcome back to the Abandoned Archaeologist again, the channel to learn all about ancient archaeological findings. Today, we'll discover the real meaning behind the ancient Eye of Horus that left people surprised. But before we begin, to get your attention, we have a question you can answer at the end of the video. What did Horus symbolize in Egyptian mythology? Write down your answer in the comment section and see if you got it right. Here we begin. Who is Horus? Horus is an ancient Egyptian god of kingship and the sky. Egyptians worshipped him from the late prehistoric era to the Ptolemaic kingdom and Roman Egypt. Horus has different forms throughout history, and every form is treated as a distinct god by Egyptologists. Horus was most often depicted as a falcon head. The earliest form of Horus was the tutelary deity of Nekhet in Upper Egypt. It was the first known national god related to the ruling pharaoh. Horus is the son of Isis and Osiris. Horus plays a major role in the Osiris myth as Osiris's heir. The left eye of Horus is called the lunar eye and is a symbol of the moon. The right eye is a solar eye and is often regarded as a symbol of the sun. The mythology surrounding the Eye of Horus revolves around a conflict between Horus and Set. Set is another god with the head of a jackal-like animal and red hair. The conflict between Horus and Set. Set, the god of the desert, kills Osiris and scatters his body. Isis orders Horus to protect the people of Egypt from Set. Thus begins the epic saga of battles between Set and Horus. These battles were not just fought by a son to avenge his father's death. These battles are depicted as a war between good and evil. Horus also fought to choose the rightful ruler of Egypt. If you see the art on the ceiling of Dendra, the temple of Hathor, you'll see the 14 figures representing the 14 parts of Osiris's body. The temple of Dendra celebrated the lunar phases. The 28 years of Osiris's life represent the moon cycle, and the 14 parts represent the decline from the full moon to the new moon. The bottom line is, Osiris was killed on the full moon, and his body was dismembered into 14 pieces. The Eye of Horus. The Eye of Horus is an ancient Egyptian symbol of protection and royal power from Horus or Ra. You can see this image of Isis, Horus's mother, and other deities associated with Isis. The symbol is called Wedjat in the Egyptian language because it was the eye of Wedjat's deity and later was associated with Bastet, Mut, and Hathor. Wedjat was the goddess of the sun, and the symbol began as her all-seeing eye. Hathor is also depicted with this eye in some of the early artworks. Funerary amulets were often made in the shape of the Eye of Horus. The Eye of Horus was the central element of 7 gold faience, carnelian, and lapis lazuli bracelets found on the mummy of Shoshenq II. It was intended to protect the king in the afterlife and to ward off evil. It became a symbol of protection among the masses in the later days. Horus was the sky god with the sun and moon as his eyes. Sometimes the solar eye and lunar eye were equated with the red and white crown of Egypt. According to some texts, the Eye of Horus is interchangeable with the Eye of Ra. According to a few Egyptologists, the two eyes were distinguished as the lunar Eye of Horus and the solar Eye of Ra. There is also a section of Egyptologists who argue that no texts specify that Horus had the sun and moon as his eyes. The symbolism of the Eye of Horus. Keeping in mind that the symbolism doesn't remain consistent over time and across cultures and religions, let's analyze the symbolism of the Eye of Horus. Baphomet was considered a god by various organizations like the Knights. He was portrayed as a goat-headed deity with a human body. Baphomet had male and female attributes, and androgen represented the perfectly balanced union of the opposites. To understand the symbolism better, consider the Hebrew script. The 16th letter of the Hebrew alphabet Ayin meaning eye. It is also the origin of the Phoenician alphabet, which gave us the origin of the Greek and Latin letter O. The perfect circle is a symbol of balance. It is the ancient and universal symbol of wholeness, infinity, and goddess energy. It represents the female spirit or the divine force. According to some interpretations, the dot in the middle of the circle represents the male force. If you combine the circle and the dot, you'll get the spiritual merging of male and female polarities. Ion means eye, and ancient pictograph represents an eye in what can be popularly seen as Hamza. In some of the ancient Egyptian mystery schools, an eye also represents light. Sun is a significant part of many religions. However, let's take a step back and look at the European celebrations. Before Jesus walked the earth, the early Europeans celebrated Yule around the 21st of December every year. At the time of the year when one struggles to survive because of cold, people bought the largest log they could find, set it on fire, and feasted around it until the fire died. In Germany, the winter holiday was celebrated by the pagan god Odin. Santa Claus was another winter holiday skywriter. Romans had many celebrations during winter, from Saturn to children. There were days-long celebrations to keep children and others happy and get through the winter. Many influential Romans worshipped Mithra, the god of the sun. They celebrated the birthday of the sun god on December 25th. Every religion has the concept of dying and the rising of death. Resurrection deity is a religious motif in which a god or goddess dies and is resurrected. The deity would die and rise again around the spring because it involves the fertility rites surrounding the yearly vegetation cycle. There are many examples: Osiris, Tammuz, Krishna, etc. They were all born on December 25th. The key takeaway is that many mysterious religions use the sun as a symbol of death and resurrection. Moon, planets, and constellations were used to celebrate several religious rituals and carnivals. They were considered nature magic during pagan times. Many of these ancient fertility rites had a method of inducing an altered Gnostic state, like tantric yoga associated with activating the third eye. Activation of the third eye is a subjective interpretation. It is most commonly interpreted as a psychic connection to the deity. This is not widely practiced in modern days. Everything brings us back to the occult meaning of Baphomet. The origin of the name Baphomet is itself a mystery. Some people argue that the name is a cipher where the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet is replaced with the last, and the second with the second last, and so on. If you crack the code, Hebrew translates to Sophia, which means wisdom. Aleister Crowley, the English philosopher and occultist, said, "The devil is the god of any people that one dislikes. His emblem is Baphomet, and his letter is the ion, the eye." We established earlier that ion is the 16th letter of the Old Hebrew and Phoenician alphabets. There is no number after 9 in the occult and alternative sciences. So if you add 6 and 1, you'll get 7. The true meaning of the G in Freemasonry, as G is the 7th letter in the English alphabet, and also the motto of the Pythagorean mystery school is all is numbers. Number 7 alludes to the heavily guarded secrets of sacred internal alchemy. All these theories bring us back to the eye as a symbol for gnosis, the Greek noun for spiritually derived knowledge. In ancient Norse and dramatic mythology, Odin sacrificed one of his eyes for wisdom and became the wisest of gods. Odin looks down from heaven on earth. The eye of Odin hence symbolizes wisdom and enlightenment to the alchemist and ancient magician priest class. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. The answer to the question we asked earlier was prosperity and protection. Horus was the symbol of prosperity and protection. Make sure to like and subscribe to never miss an update.